Good morning. Bonjour, bonjour, good morning, Alice. I thought about you last night. Françoise. Hello, everyone. So I need some Frenchy time. Yes, this is Elegant Femme's Guide to A Course in Miracles, which means we're honoring the Femme types. And I got to tell you, I just worked out, felt amazing, and I need some mascara. So we're doing this here live because, well, I want to. And it feels a bit fun to shake things up. And I wanted to do a little test. We are going to get to the lesson. And I'm sure somehow, some way the lesson will have to do with this. This will feed in somehow. I don't even know what the lesson is today, but it will. Okay. My standby Chantecaille mascara, which I swear by. I've been using this for years. And the new Yves Saint Laurent. So here's the thing. I stopped using any kind of like regular mascaras, meaning like commercial brands most, although Chantecaille is a commercial brand, but it's more natural. It doesn't pull your eyelashes out. Like there's some substance, I don't know, some ingredient in most mascaras that actually will pull your lashes out. It's almost like having hairspray. So even though it makes them longer, it actually pulls them out over time. I can't verify that this won't do that. I don't know. I know that this doesn't. I know it doesn't. I love this. Makes my lashes look insane. So we're just going to play. We're just going to do a little test. How is everybody? This is the one thing with Chantecaille though, no matter how many times. This always comes apart from this. I even tried putting like glue in there. So that's a one little flaw. Okay, this is a Chantecaille. If you are over 40, you might recognize this move. Pulling up the eyebrow. Look, I secretly or not so secretly judged older people when I was little for like having mascara on their eyelids. I know why. You got to pull it up. All right, we're going to do a little test. We're going to see. Let's see. Without a mirror, if we can see a difference on this eye. Can you see a difference already on that eye? I can feel it. All right. Let's see if we're going to be able to see a difference at all. That is Chantecaille on the left. Let's see. Yves Saint Laurent. The wand is different. Eyelid still needs to go up. I'm so used to the Chantecaille. I really like the way it goes on. It feels lengthening. But I got swept into an Instagram story with this, so that's what happened. If we can be honest. I don't know. I can't tell. But the Chantecaille still feels bigger to me on my eyelid. Can we tell at all? Can we tell? Look the same? All right, that's the fun Frenchie opening for today. How are we? Let's have some fun. Okay. I've been so sad. I have been so sad. I want to tell you this. We can move through all the lessons. We can do all the work. We can do all the things. And we can still get really sad. We can know that everything's working out for us. We can know that the better it gets, the better it gets. We can know that everything underneath is beautiful. We can know that spirit is orchestrated in our favor. We can know that we are the co-creator. And we can still get sad. We can still get upset. We can still get frustrated. We can still feel, in my experience, despair and upset and all those things. And the place inside of us that wants to judge those things as wrong, or that we're not there yet, or that we're just not a good student of the course, or we just haven't figured it out, I think that's the part we really need to watch. You know, the part of us that wants to move ourselves out of the intensity of those feelings because we feel like something's wrong with us if we have them. So, you know, we can know that our external circumstances aren't the truth, and that it's all about how we relate, right? We can know these things, and there can be moments in our lives where that feels really hard to reconcile inside of us. So I want to share that with you because It's real. It's real. It's real. It's real. It's real. And two things can be true at once. And I find it actually fascinating, at the same time super frustrating in some ways, that the more we evolve, sometimes the more intense those things can feel inside of us. And we can move from, let me know if you've had this experience, we can move from this state of pure peace, like you can see things clearly, like, oh my God, I know, like nothing's really changed. And inside you're like, oh, this feels so good. I know it. I'm at peace. I know I can see it. I know how this works. I'm remembering. And then literally like the same day, you can spiral into like, oh my God. And here's how I choose to respond to this and what's different than the way that I used to respond to it. So it was very easy for me to make myself wrong for that. It's very easy, I think, for any of us to make ourselves wrong for that. What am I doing? What I experienced before must not have been real. What's wrong with me? All of those things. And what I see now, the more I've experienced the intensity, is the more I celebrate the shift in identity that's occurring in those moments. Again, not to make it easy, not to sugarcoat it, not to deny ourselves the the depth that we can go to inside when we're in that space, the extreme feelings that we can have. So not to dilute them at all, but when we're having them, if we can just even a tiny bit consider that this is an identity threshold, that this is this fire, right? This is how I experience this fire that's burning inside is here to offer the opportunity of a depth of incredible expansion unlike anything we've ever experienced before. So we're going to leave it at that. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. All right. So celebrating all of you, whatever it is you're moving through at this particular point in time. I'm going to open up today's lesson and see where we are inside. Lesson 273. Haha. Perfect. I don't know quite yet what it has to do with mascara, but I love it. Lesson 273, the stillness of the peace of God is mine, right? Again, we know this. But to allow ourselves to experience it is very different. And one of the things that may be coming up for you to clear, to undo, to unravel, to further integrate, and this is something that's really been coming up for me as I am in preparation for our Overflow program, which starts this Friday, which is going to be unlike anything I've ever talked about. I've never directly talked about money in this way. I've never talked about spending, overspending, feast or famine, the feeling of not having enough no matter how much you make. I've never talked about this before, ever, ever, ever. And a lot has been coming up for me around the leading of this course and the way that I'm really being called by God to do this. So the stillness of the peace of God is mine. You can be inside that state. And then how can you bring that truth into your physical world reality in a way that allows you to interact, in a way that allows you to continually expand your desires, in a way that allows you to create more in the world without going into a default of punishment, without going into a default of pressure, feeling like pressure needs to be a part of the formula in order to create. This is a really big thing. So if you have found yourself overspending, or even just spending to release pressure, or creating pressure in order to create in the world, peace will feel distant. No matter how much you do, no matter how much you make, no matter how much you create, peace will still feel distant. So you can know this. You can know the stillness of the peace of God is mine. You can know that. But to experience it requires something different inside of us. Okay, so the lesson, perhaps we are now ready for a day of undisturbed tranquility. If this is not yet feasible, we are content and even more than satisfied to learn how such a day can be achieved. If we can give way to a disturbance, let us learn how to dismiss it and return to peace. We need but tell our minds with certainty, the stillness of the peace of God is mine. It is yours already. There's not something you need to do. But if you're caught in a cycle and have created this pairing inside that you need to earn peace, that's what needs to change. And nothing can intrude upon the peace that God itself has given to its Son. God itself has given to you. Nothing can intrude upon the peace that God has given to you. God, your peace is mine. What need have I to fear that anything can rob me of what you would have me keep? I cannot lose your gifts in me. And so the peace you gave me is still with me in quietness and in my own eternal love for you. So how does this land? One of the things I'm going to encourage all of you, whether you're here with me live, whether you're watching the replay, or whether you see this in 10 years, one of the things I'm going to encourage you to be with today, to meditate on, is if peace feels let's say it this way, when peace feels distant. Because if you are it is normal, let me say it this way, it is normal to, let's say it, is that the way I want to say it? It is understandable, let's say it that way. Let's not even make it normal, because it doesn't need to be normal. It is understandable that we move through the world not always feeling at peace, that we can get triggered, that we can feel ourselves pull out of it, that we move through the identity threshold and we distance ourselves from that truth inside. What I would invite you to be with is the consideration inside of what part of you feels you need to earn peace. I think that would be a beautiful journal assignment if you want to take it deeper today. Just to ask yourself, what part of me feels like I need to earn peace? And journal with that part. And if you are inside of Elegant Femme and you really are allowing the support of your Femme types, it'd be a beautiful thing to take through the Femme type process. Just really looking at what part of my being, right? Go into your indie. What part of me feels like I need to earn peace in order to be the woman I desire to be? What part of me feels like I need to earn peace in order to enjoy that which I desire to enjoy? Right? What part of me feels like I need to earn versus allow that which I desire in my life? That would be New Yorker. So that's a beautiful way to really integrate your Femme types at a higher level inside of this. And if you're brand new to Elegant Femme, of course, we got you. You can go to elegantfemme.com and you can learn about the Femme types. You can begin with the Femme flow list. That's a perfect place to start, which is my AM PM process that I do every single day to grow and lead an 8-figure business, to be the most amazing mom I can be, right? That's what I do every single day. Those are my touch points, my bookends. And if you're resonating with the conversation of overflow, I encourage you to join us. The price right now is $555 and it's going to be going up to $1,111. So it's going to be going up to $1,111. So if it's calling you, you might want to join us now. So as we close, the stillness of the peace of God is mine. Take ownership of it. Claim it. Peace is mine. Stillness is mine. Remember, you don't need to earn that. All right. So with that, we had our mascara. We had our Frenchie moment. We had our indie moment. And we certainly had a New Yorker moment. Oh, that's beautiful. Yes, a lot sending love and health. Love and health in all the ways. Love and health in all the ways, right? That's a big thing. I feel like the consciousness of the world right now is prioritizing health and wellness in a way that we never have before. And although it can still ride initially maybe on the surface level of the way we look, I feel like the consciousness is actually ready for a different level of conversation. And also seeing how health and wealth really do support each other. That it's not about choosing one or the other, right? Health, wealth, spirituality, right? It's all one in the oneness. All right, beauties, have a gorgeous rest of your day. What do we think? Yves Saint Laurent, that's this side. Chantecaille, what are we thinking? All right, bye, beauties. See you tomorrow.